Hey guys, it's Nico. Today I wanted to do a more long form video for you guys, and I thought here would be a great place to talk about therians, alterhumans in general, and just therianthropy as an experience. So before we start, what I will be doing is giving you a quick rundown of what I will be covering. I will be talking about the alterhuman umbrella term, the therian identity, as well as other identities including other-hearted, otherkin, fictionkin, and also little subcategories of therians like clodotherian and suntherian, and a polymorph. So, alongside that, I will also be talking about what you might see online. But I'll also be talking about why you might see a lot of quadrobics, what gear is, and why a lot of people consider masks as gear. We will also be talking about shifting and what it is. Okay, so let's get into some of those labels. Other-hearted. What is other-hearted? Other-hearted usually means that you have a deep spiritual connection with an animal. It's kind of like a therian, but instead of identifying as the animal, you identify with the animal. You just feel that connection, you know? You don't necessarily identify as, say, a raven, but that is where you feel the most connection. Another thing that people might, like, when I first heard the other-hearted term, I wasn't sure if I was therian or other-hearted. You can be both. You might be, say, a wolf therian, but you might be other-hearted towards ravens. You don't identify as a raven, but you feel that connection. Otherkin. Otherkin means that the definition says a part of the alterhuman community who identifies as a non-earthen animal. Most of the time that includes dragons, griffins, and all these other mythical fantasy animals. They might not have existed on Earth, but that's what you identify as, and that is what you feel. You can feel shifts. You might feel like you are a dragon. That's what you once were. It doesn't necessarily mean that you were once a dragon in like another world, but you just feel like you are a dragon, if you know what I mean. Let's move on to the next part. Fictionkin. There's something called fictionkin where people identify as a fictional character. For example, I'm fictionkin, and my fictotype is Dr. Bright from the SCP Foundation. Fictionkin doesn't have to be like a fictional character that is an animal. Of course, there might be people who identify as Blue Star from Warrior Cats. But there are people out there that have, like, say, a human character as their fictotype. So, I'm just a chaotic, immortal madman, okay? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. Now here's the main topic of this video. Therians. A therian means that you identify spiritually or psychologically as an animal. There are many theories as to why people identify as a therian. I'm not getting into that because I don't know how to explain other than my own experience. What therian means to one person might not mean the same thing to another, because everyone's experience is different. A lot of this video might just be me spewing my experience, because that's how I can give examples, because I'm not somebody else. I'm not another therian that I can just be like, oh yeah, well this is this person's experience and this is mine. No, I am my own person, and I have my own experiences. So what I might say might not be what you feel. So underneath the Therian label, there's other labels, such as Sun Therian. Sun Therian means that you are constantly shifted. Whether that means you always feel like a tail is behind you, or you always feel those ears, or you always feel like, it basically just means your animal and your human side are always connected. It doesn't go away like some shifts do. Yes, I do have little cards based off of the topics because I can't memorize the script. Cladotherian. A Cladotherian means that, say, one person identifies as a raven, another person feels a connection to all birds. When you identify as, say, all birds, or just all corvids, that means that you are a Cladotherian for those birds. Being a Cladotherian means all. You are all of that species, or you are all of that type. For example, a domestic dog Cladotherian. That's what I am. I have a lot of identities, and the reason why it was hard to figure out my stereotypes is because I found out I'm a polymorph and a Cladotherian. So it always changes. And speaking of polymorphs, that's our next thing. Polymorphs. Polymorph means that your stereotype, your identity is very constantly changing. To the point where sometimes, some days, you get a shift of being like a deer, and then the next second, you feel like you're a dog. It's always in motion. It's always cycling through all these identities, all these animals. But then again, none of them are like your solid stereotype. That's just, it's like getting a cameo shift, but all the time. That's what it feels for me to be a polymorph. And then there's also polytherians. Don't get polymorph and polytherian mixed up, because polymorph means that it's constantly changing, whereas a polytherian means that you just have more than one stereotype. I could fit all these labels, but I just say I'm a therian. I don't really pick and choose. You can't pick and choose your stereotypes, but I'm not pick and choosing the labels. I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm a polymorph, polytherian, cladotherian. I just say I'm a therian. It's a lot simpler than being like, oh yeah, I'm all this stuff. But a polytherian might mean that you're a husky, and you're a bluebird, and you're a goldfish. You never know. And yeah, that's polytherian. Oh. Shifting. Now this is where we get into the aspects that a lot of people consider being therian. Shifting means that, well, there's different kinds of shifting. For example, mental shifts. A mental shift is where your mind reverts back to your animalistic stage. I don't know how to really explain it, but for example, you are a fox therian. There's an example. You're a fox therian. You get a mental shift. You're thinking and you're acting more like a fox than you would a human. You might be partially shifted, or you might be fully shifted. And sometimes it just comes on and you can't stop it. There are ways to kind of settle that down though. When it comes to shifting, there's also phantom shifts, which means that you kind of feel like your hands are paws, or you feel ears, or you feel wings, but they're not really there. It's kind of like a phantom limb on somebody who got amputated. Quadrobics and quads. This is something that I see a lot of therians do online, which I also do myself. I won't deny that. It's not like I don't do quadrobics, or I'm trying to lie like, oh no, I don't do that. No, I do. But a lot of people see quad aerobics as a way to connect to their therio side. For example, walking around like a cat might make you feel more connected to that part of your identity. But quad aerobics isn't, being a therian isn't about doing quad aerobics or quads in general. Being a therian is the identity. Quads are a sport. It's like a hobby. It's just like, it's a way to strengthen your muscles, and it's good flexibility. Gear. Now, you've seen me wearing this mask this entire video, but you probably didn't see that I was also wearing a tail. But gear also doesn't make you therian. You can wear therian masks and have tails and not be a therian. Gear is just another thing that people wear and use to feel more like their stereotype. I wear my mask if I don't feel like showing my face on that day, on my YouTube channel or wherever. I use it to hide myself on social media. Sometimes I have shown my face on this channel. I'm not gonna lie about that. I have. You can go through my videos and find my face. But a lot of people don't understand that being a therian isn't, it's not an aesthetic. It's not a hobby. It's an identity. Other paw is where you wear therian masks. It's not even a therian thing. People that aren't therians can wear these too. But people that wear masks, do quad aerobics and wear tails, that's other paw. If they don't identify as a therian, they can identify as other paw, or they can just say they're a furry. Or they can say nothing. You don't have to label yourself. The whole point of this video is to educate and talk to you about the labels that have been made and the fact that you don't have to identify with those labels. For me, a lot of labels feel restrictive, like they're not. Identity is fluid. It changes over time. And another thing, speaking of being fluid, I'm gender fluid and a therian, which means that gender and being a therian are separate. They are not one and the same. It's not like my gender is cat. I'm not cat gender. I think that's actually a thing. But I'm not. My gender and my therianthropy are two separate things. And you can also have your own religion. You can be Christian and be a therian. That won't interfere. I don't think the Bible says anything about not being therian. And even though I don't believe in that stuff, obviously I'm not going to be rude to those who do. But don't let being a therian stop you from stuff like religion or sexuality or gender. It's just part of who you are, just like all those things. So I'm going to end the video here. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll keep the comments on. Hopefully YouTube doesn't stop that. But if you have any questions or need clarification, I can always make another video.